So that brings us into the neutral territory with our first common neutral minion, which is Kindling Elemental. It's a 1 mana, 1/2 elemental minion with the battle cry. The next elemental you play costs 1 less. So the fact that it's the next elemental that you play and not this turn means that it carries over to the next turn. So you could play Kindling Elemental on 1 and a 3 mana elemental on 2. That's pretty cool. Elemental Mage and Shaman aren't really meta. It's a pretty cool interaction, and the fact that it persists over into the next turn for something that is kind of predicated on you having played elementals the previous turn is also really nice. That's a really long-winded way of saying I love this card, but it's a 2. What do you think, Hydra?
I think I can agree with that too. I think that maybe there could be something really neat where you only need to run this to enable a combo, like later on in a game where you play this is the only reason you're playing it is because you're trying to reduce an elemental that's too expensive down the road, because it does persist till you play that. So that's really neat. Once again, long-winded to call it a 2.
Yeah, I'll give it a 3. When I saw it, the only thing, you guys make some good points, but I guess the only thing I thought of was like this card at some point with the Electra's Storm Surge, if people wanted to do some crazy face, like lightning, like I don't know, like face damage with shaman spells. But yeah, I'll give it a 3. Maybe someone will do something with it.
Yeah, I actually gave it a 3 as well. I think if elementals become a thing, this will be a staple because mana reduction is great. And so we've seen Shaman, we've seen Mage get like, you know, their decks are off meta. Like there's some cool cards, but there wasn't enough support. And so, hey, maybe there's enough support now. I mean, a lot of it's like we're going to have to try it and see. And then if it's great, then, you know, if it's good, then good. And if it's not enough, then we'll revisit it later. But if those decks ever become meta, I love that this is not, like, it doesn't say this turn. It should, right. Like, you know, this is your, what's that 1 mana that we play in Odd Paladin? You know, it says like your next hero power costs 0.
Tour guide.
Tour guide. This is tour guide for elementals, right? I mean, different, but same, but different. So yeah, I give it a 3. I like it.
Same, but different. Cool. That brings us into the first of the watch posts. This is Far Watch Post. Far Watch Post is a 2 mana 2/4 minion that reads, can't attack. After your opponent draws a card, it costs 1 more. Up to 10. So, you know, if they draw a 10 cost minion, it doesn't make it cost 11 and make it completely unplayable. Which is really nice for, you know, like the whole, like, feels bad kind of a effect where someone, like, gets stuff that they can't draw or that they can't play at all, period, ever. I really like, this is the first watch post that we're getting. There will be more watch posts than just this one with actually a payoff as well. I really like how watch post will kind of push a little bit more of a mid-range archetype, particularly in standard, obviously, where the card pool is much more restricted. But it could force that archetype in being stronger than, for example, aggro in Wild as well, because you drop Firewatch Post on 2, your opponent draws a 3 mana card. Well, they can't play it because now it costs 4. You know, causing them to play off curve is very strong. I'm not sure if there will be quite enough of the watch post to make it kind of as consistent, particularly in Wild. That said, it's disruption. It produces a high priority target for your opponent to trade into. I really like this card. I really like the whole watch post synergy, and kind of causing disruption in a way that, you know, you can't then attack with the minion, and forcing your opponent to trade into it. So, or, you know, use Shadow Word Pain, those kinds of effects on it. I'm not sure if I want to give it a 2 or a 3. I'm going to go... I have written down 2. I think I'm actually going to go 3 with it just because I really think that disruption is really strong and can push a lot of things kind of off into, playing off curve. And that's a really strong effect. Hydra, what do you think?
I'm also going to give this a 3. I think that this is insanely annoying. And the fact that it says it can't attack, I don't think really matters. Because they have to attack into it. This is going to deal its damage anyway, unless they have a spell to kill it, right? Like, they're going to have to trade into this to get rid of it so that they continue playing their game, just for you to play another one, right? So, I think it's really annoying. I'm going to give this a 3. There's also, to be noted, if you could probably, I don't know how good it is, put this into Mill Rogue, so that... they're trying to empty their hand, but they can't because they keep drawing these cards that cost too much. So there could be something like that. I'm not sure if it's really good application, but yeah, very annoying. 3 for me. It'll see some play.
There's only about I don't know, 5 cards in this neutral thing that excite me. So a lot of my reasons will just be very short and sweet. This watch post, all these watch posts, I know they generate a lot of people everywhere. So for me, this is the only one that I think gets my brain going. The fact that I play it, turn 3, their next card costs 1 more, slows down whatever they were trying to do. Low effort on my side, seems good enough. I'll give it a 3. And yeah, a lot of these neutrals are just hot garbage. So I'll be chilling for a minute. I'll be real quick.
Yeah, okay. I give it a 2. I think that it is like Hydra was saying, it's going to be annoying to deal with, right? Because you would draw your card and like, oh yeah, that's what I'm going to use to kill this thing. Like a 2-mana 2/4 is difficult to kill on 3. You're going to have to attack into it twice or something. Like you're going to get some value from this. I mean, late game it doesn't, maybe not as good, but if you play it on curve, it's going to be really difficult to deal with. And I compare it to like, what is it? Nerubar Weblord.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, they dropped this card and then it's like, oh, I need to kill this. Oh, I can't play my card to kill it. And it's annoying. Like, meanwhile you can be killing them while they're having to deal with this. And so this is one of those that you get punished really hard for like leaving there. I struggle a little bit with like, hey, where do we play this? Like, do I play it in Even Shaman? Do I play it in Token Druid for like the disruption? Maybe, or where do I play it? I don't know. I like the reveal video that these are in from the Amazing LP, right? I think is that the name of the person or the name of the group that put it together?
I think so. I actually haven't seen that particular video, but dude, I love all of their videos, so I need to watch that one.
I'll link it to you. It's so good. So yeah, I mean, I give it a 2. I just struggle with where to use it, but the card itself, the utility, it seems great. Yeah, it seems great.
Mm-hmm. That brings us to Lushwater Mercenary, because it's like mercenary, but MURC because it's a Murloc. So it's a 2-mana 3/2 Murloc with the battle cry. If you control a Murloc, gain +1/+1. So if you're playing Lushwater Mercenary on 2 with no other Murloc, then it's a 3/2, and it's Murloc, and that's solid. But if you're playing it on 2 with another Murloc already on the board, then it's a 2-mana 4/3 with the Murloc synergy, with all of that. I love Lushwater Mercenary, and I'm going to continue calling it Mercenary, not Mercenary. I'm going with 4 for this one. I think that this is one of those kind of like glue cards that makes a Murloc anything. Just like it gives it that consistency, it gives it that synergy that really pushes it above. The only thing that you're not going to play this in, of course, is like an anything can happen because of obvious reasons. You're not going to want to bring this back. You're going to want to bring back a very specific select, things. This is what we want to be playing, particularly in Murloc Shaman, though. Like that's where the 4, that puts this into a meta deck. That's the meta deck that I'm going to be jamming this in all day, every day. What do you think about Lushwater Mercenary, Hydra?
I think my favorite thing about it is that that's a battle cry. It's not just like an aura effect. If there's another Murloc, you have this. Like, yeah, if you control one at that point in time, you gain it. You're not going to lose the buff. It just stays there. So 2 mana, 4/3, you're most likely going to have something else on board. If not, it's fine the way it is. I don't see a downside to this card. If we're playing Murloc Shaman, we're playing this card, which makes it a meta-worthy card. 4 stars.
Let's go.
Wow, nice. I gave it... Oh, sorry. My turn. Mike, go for it.
Yeah, I gave Lushwater, I gave it a 3. I think it's a solid card. Go ahead, Nate.
Yeah, I gave it a 3 as well. I mean, this goes in Murloc Shaman for sure. I mean, really, if you're playing the aggro version of Murloc Paladin, I suppose you could play it there as well. Not in like an Anyfin variant, but like, yeah, it's a solid card. I like it. I mean, we can move on, but yeah, I think it's good.
Yeah, that brings us to another Lushwater card. It says Lushwater Scout, which is a 2 mana 1/3 Murloc that reads, after you summon a Murloc, give it +1 attack and rush. So I think the Lushwater Scout is particularly strong against, of course, aggro, because you can just drop a whole bunch of different Murlocs, make them be able to trade up a little bit harder. The downside is you don't necessarily want to drop Lushwater Scout on 2 and be kind of as aggressive. So it's more one of those cards that's fighting against other aggressive decks rather than pushing your own agenda. So for me, that instead of making it a 4 like Lushwater Mercenary was, for me it's a 3 because I'm not sure if it'll be played in absolutely all of those Murloc decks, but yeah, I mean, I think you probably are. It's just not that kind of like glue that's you're definitely playing this period. So very solid card, 3 from me. What do you think, Hydra?
For me, it's quite defensively statted instead of aggressively statted. When I play Murlocs, I like to go face. So I'm going to give this a 2 as fringe playable if we're deciding to be the ones who are trading. I like to make them trade. So 2.
Yeah, I'm giving this a 2 as well. I like the idea, but I'll give it a 2.
Yeah, this feels like it's basically Magic Carpet for Murloc Shaman, right? Yeah. And so, I mean, I think that I'm somewhere in between a 2 and a 3. I've been wavering. I scored it a 2 on my sheet. I like the ability. I don't know that I want to play it on curve, and like the list is starting to get really tight. And so, I don't know. I mean, I'll settle with it as a 3. I think I like it. I've been kind of going back and forth, but it feels strong to me. I like the idea of it giving plus attack and rush. And it is, like I just said, it is defensively statted. And so, I don't know. I like the idea of like, yeah, man, every time I play one of these Murlocs, if you don't deal with it right away, you're going to regret it. And so, yeah, no, seems fine.
Yeah, that brings us to Oasis Thrasher. Oasis Thrasher is a 2 mana 2/3 beast with Frenzy. Deal 3 damage to the enemy hero. So I look at Oasis Thrasher and I wonder exactly where I want to play it. I think the only place that I see that I really want to play it is Hunter, which has those beast synergies that I want. And do I really want to play this in just regular Hunter? No. Do I want to play this in even Hunter? No, because I want to be, like doing, things with the 1 2 mana 2/3 that whenever you push my hero power, it pulls a secret out of my deck.
Yeah,
that's much better, right? This doesn't have rush to activate that. That frenzy effect. So I'm not sure exactly. You're not guaranteed that value. I wish that I liked this one a lot better, but I got to go 1 on the Thrasher. What do you think, Hydra?
I'm going to score it a 2 based solely on the fact that it is a better River Croc. And if River Croc is 1, then this has to be a 2. That's it. End of story. What do you think, Mike?
I'll give this a 2. I'm not going to resummon this in Warrior.
Yeah, I give it a 1. I don't see myself playing this in anything. I mean, maybe super off meta, even Hunter, like, hey, I mean, the damage goes face, but I don't see myself playing this in anything. It's I don't know. River Croc is crying somewhere. So you get the power creep for sure.
That brings us to Peon. Peon is a 2-mana, 2/3 minion with no tribe, but with Frenzy, add a random spell from your class to your hand. I really want to like Peon because they work on the watchtowers, and I really like the watchtowers, but it doesn't have any synergy with the watchtowers. We already hear Peon in the game. It's the one that says, "Job's done." Whenever you played everything that you can. If I want a spell from my class, I'm gonna put that spell into my deck though. Like, I'm not gonna try and get it from Peon's frenzied effect. I really want to like Peon, but that's gonna be a 1 for me. What do you think, Hydra?
It's got vanilla stats with a slight upside that goes off sometimes. I like to plan what I'm doing when I'm building a deck. This isn't planning for anything. It doesn't have a tag. So it's a 1 for me.
Yeah, same here. Definitely earned his name. Peon.
Great lore, bad card. I give it a 1.
Easy peasy. That brings us to Talented Arcanist. Talented Arcanist is a 2-mana 1/3 with the battle cry. Your next spell this turn has spell damage +2. I was looking for different ways that we can really capitalize on this card. The spell damage only goes off once. It is spell damage +2, so that's not inconsequential. But what are we playing this in? Like OTK Demon Hunter? I guess. I got nothing. The Talented Arcanist is a 1 for me. What do you think, Hydra?
Yeah, I don't know where this has a home. Maybe one day it'll have one, but for now, it's got a 1.
This card is junk, man. There's so many junk cards. 1.
Yeah, I just don't think it's good in anything. I give it a 1 as well. It's pack filler.
Pack filler. It's a neutral common. Makes sense.
That should be a rating. Pack filler.
Pack filler, right though? That brings us to Toad of the Wilds. Toad of the Wilds is a 2-mana 2/3 beast with taunt and battle cry. If you're holding a nature spell, gain +2 health. So if you happen to be holding a nature spell, it's a 2-mana 2/4 with taunt. I'm just not sure exactly what archetype is. Let's say that always goes off. I'm not sure what archetype that really kind of advances. Like Beast Druid, I guess, maybe. I don't know. For me, it's a 1. What do you think, Hydra?
I'm not going to waste too much time on this. 1.
Yeah. 1.
Yeah, this card is absolute garbage. I think that it is probably like, it's called Toad of the Wilds. Like, this is like our new mascot. I love it. This has got a...
It should be.
Like, when we had Mr. Bigglesworth, like, on the show artwork for, several months, like, this is the new Mr. Bigglesworth for this set for me. Like, it's the Toad of the Wild. Like, I'm going to start hiding this in the show artwork now.
Yes.
This is like takes the cake for the cute card. I think the card itself is definitely a 1, but I love the name and I think it's cute and y'all expect to see this from time to time.
Excellent. That brings us to Barrens Trapper. Barrens Trapper is a 3-mana 2/4. The text: your Death Rattle cards cost 1 less. So this effect is super strong. The downside is Barrens Trapper itself costs 3 mana, so you have to play 3 Death Rattle cards in order to get value off of it. I don't know if there's anything that Standard wants to do with Death Rattle cards and Death Rattle synergies. Maybe if I'm trying to play Death Rattle Demon Hunter, which pulls specifically like costed Death Rattles out of my hand, then that's what I'm doing. But I mean, once Barrens Trapper dies, its effect goes away. So yeah, it's a 1 for me. I tried to look for ways to where it wasn't, but it is. What do you think, Hydra?
If this was a persistent effect, I would say that it's amazing, but it's only while this is on board, and if you play this on curve, I'm sure it's going to be killed as soon as possible so that you can't continue to drop cheap Death Rattle cards the next turn. So I don't think it looks like it could be efficient. I like mana cheating a little bit, but I don't want to play this card to be able to do so. It's a 1.
Yeah, for me, this card's a 1. Just like most other cards that were 2 to 3 cost, we kind of shot down because they have low health, they can die. So this has 4 health. Just like most other cards that had 3 health, if they can die, this will die. This effect is great, but like the Death Rattle card I want to play is what? Mad Scientist, right? So this comes a turn after. So I'm good. I don't see any plays with it. Nate, do you?
No, they made very similar cards in Hunter way back when, and those weren't good enough for a class that was pushing that Death Rattle archetype. And so I don't see this being good enough either. I just give it a 1.
Yeah.
Cool. That brings us to Crossroads Gossiper. Crossroads Gossiper is a 3-mana 4/3 minion that reads: after a friendly secret is revealed, gain +2/+2. So one of the cool things about Secret Mage is that the best way to play around Secret Mage is by proccing their secrets. This punishes people for proccing their secrets. So they just kill this minion before they proc the other secrets and move on with their life. This has a lot of potential that is unfortunately promptly ruined by the... I mean, I guess you could play it in Secret Paladin with Get Down, but then they just play a spell instead and kill it. So I want to like Crossroads Gossiper. Maybe you play it in Secret Paladin in Standard, but in Wild, I think it's got to be a 1. What do you think, Hydra?
Well, I can see people trying to play it. Yeah, I feel like Secret Mage is a super tight list already. Like sometimes I struggle what cards I want to pull out to put something else in, and I can't see myself trying to make a case to put this in. If I was playing like on a budget and this is kind of all I had, then I would put it in, but it's not going to go into meta deck or super fringe in my opinion. So super cool effect. This thing could grow if you don't play around the secrets. You know what? You play this thing at like bronze 10 with you got like a 2-star bonus star thing. This thing's going to get huge, right? Because no one's going to trade properly or proc your secrets properly. But if you're playing this in diamond and above, this thing's just going to die. Sorry, it's a 1.
Sorry, I muted myself. The idea of like a friendly secret being revealed and then this gets 2/2, I feel like is a Hunter thing, so I gave it a 1. What do you think, Nate?
Yeah, I give it a 1 as well. I mean, I think what it looks like is the last season we saw Secret Mage revived in Standard. This expansion, we're seeing Secret Paladin revived in Standard. So this feels like Standard Secret filler. But the wild decks are so refined that like you don't want this. There's better cards to put, and so I just give it a 1. Like you could try it out in Standard and see, but like,
I think what Hydra said is a really good point in that it's for people maybe on more of a budget, particularly I think in Standard, because it has those secret synergies so that they can play there for like those less tight lists. That's a good thing that we have things for budget players to incorporate that has synergies, but for meta stuff, not so much. So that brings us to Death's Head Cultist. Death's Head Cultist is a 3-mana 2/4 with Taunt and Death Rattle. Restore 4 health to your hero. So it's odd. It's Death Rattle. It's Taunt. Heals your hero. But it doesn't really advance any archetype that we really have. Not going to waste too much time on it. Death's Head Cultist is pack filler, which is a 1. What do you think, Hydra?
Pack filler 1. Mike?
Pack filler number 1.
Yeah, it's bad. That's a 1 for me.
That joke.
Ayo. That brings us to Hog Ranger. Hog Ranger, on the other hand, is not pack filler. Hog Ranger is a 3-mana 3/2 with Battle Cry. Summon a 2/1 hog with Rush. That hog is adorable. Look at that hog's cute little belly, his little nose, and in the gold one, he's all like, whoosh. It's adorable. I mean, I got to go 5 for the art of Hog.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go 2.
2.
Otherwise, just because I love the art so much, we're never gonna see it played except for the art. But Piggy's adorable. What do you think, Hydra?
Well, I mean, 3 mana, 5/2 in stats is pretty decent, I suppose. Spread over 2 bodies, but sorry, I don't know where I'm going to play it. If I get this card off of something, though, I'm going to love every minute of it. And I want everybody to cursor over my beautiful hog. But, yeah, 2 for cute. Mike?
1. Pass.
Yeah, this is good if you discover it, like it's okay, it has an immediate impact, but I still give it a 1. Like, I'm not going to purposefully put this in anything.
I'm going to craft it in gold.
I bet you are.
I probably am, actually. That brings us to Ratchet Privateer, which is a 3-mana 4/3 pirate to Battle Cry. Give your weapon +1 attack. So Ratchet Privateer is aggressively statted. It's a pirate. Buffs weapon. We don't play Naga Corsair, which is a 4-mana 5/4 with the same effect. So this is cheaper, still aggressively statted, consistent with that. But we don't play Naga Corsair, and I don't think that we're really going to play Ratchet Privateer. That said, if you're trying to play Kingsbane Rogue and are on a budget and you open Ratchet Privateer, I think you play it. So I'm going to give it a 2 for fringe play for budget Kingsbane Rogue and or a Pirate Rogue in general. What do you think, Hydra?
I think you said that perfectly. That's something that I would put into my alternate accounts, or if my kid was playing and he had this, throw this into the deck, buff that weapon. 2 for fringe play.
I'll give it a 2 as well. Fringe play.
Yeah. This is I give it 2 as well. Yeah, I don't know. Probably not good enough for Pirate Warrior or Odd Rogue, but in my kid's free to play version, it will be. So
right.
it's a 2, yeah. Okay, yeah, carry on.
That brings us to Sunwell Initiate. Sunwell Initiate is a 3-mana 3/4 minion with Frenzy. Gain Divine Shield. With a lot of Frenzy cards, if this had Rush, it'd be solid. It doesn't have Rush. The Frenzy effect isn't worth running other things in order to make it happen. So that's going to be a 1 for me. What do you think, Hydra?
Potentially to be really annoying when I'm playing Tavern Brawl, but I don't really play Tavern Brawl. So 1.
This is an arena card.
Mm-hmm.
True.
Oh, no, it's a 1. Like it's garbage. Go ahead, Nate.
Yeah. This reminds me of Goody Two Shields a tiny bit. But like you could play it in Paladin because it's like pure or whatever. But in like this, I just give it a 1. I'm not going to play this in anything.
That brings us to Venomous Scorpion. Venomous Scorpion is a 3-mana 1/3 beast with poisonous and battle cry. Discover a spell. If Scorpion had taunt or anything like that, then it might possibly get up to a 2, but like it doesn't though. It's a 1. It replaces itself. It's got poisonous, but it's way too expensive, and the bud on it is only 3. Like 1 pack filler. What do you think, Hydra?
I'm gonna give it a 2 just because it says poisonous and you get to discover something. Like there's value in it, and it can trade with something massive. I'm not going to be playing it in really anything except unless it was super fringe, but it's just a 2 because it is powerful, but it's garbage.
It's powerful garbage.
I know it's powerful garbage. Like, look, it's poisonous. You can discover a spell. It can trade with any minion. I'm not going to play it though. That's just the way it is. Mike.
Some things will never change. Oh, Mike, you're muted.
I'm so smooth like that. I'll give it a 2. It discovers a spell. It's got 3 health. It's going to die. But I do run, we all run this, listener series, custom deck building. So it has a slot there, but it's a 2 on the ladder.
Yeah, cool. I give it a 1. I mean, this is like we already don't play Plated Beetle, right? And so, I mean, it's the same thing. It's got poison, so okay, but I don't see ever seeing any play anywhere.
Yeah, everything is good with animated broomstick. This is great with broom, but that brings us to Darkspear Berserker. Darkspear Berserker is a 4-mana 5/7 with Death Rattle. Deal 5 damage to your hero. So Wild is not mid-range. I can see this maybe being played in Standard if Standard is going super duper mid-range, which it seems to be, but we got better stuff to do with our mana. Cheating out an extra like 1/3 in stats isn't good enough. So for us in Wild, that's going to be a 1 for me. What do you think, Hydra?
I'm going to up that to a 2 just because I don't know why. It's got great stats, and I don't really care if I'm taking 5 damage. Obviously, we're putting this in something very aggressive, and I don't care about my health total. So I'm going to give it a 2 just based on stats alone. Probably not going to play it though. Like,
no, I gave it a 1 pack filler.
All right, just hear me out. Silence Priest, okay? I give it a 1.
That brings us to Gruntled Patron. I can't wait to hear the different sound effects that Gruntled Patron has. Everyone, get in here!
Get in here!
Gruntled Patron is a 4-mana 3/3 with Frenzy. Summon another Gruntled Patron. So, unlike Grim Patron, you can't just summon multiple dudes from the same one, but every subsequent Gruntled Patron can summon another Gruntled Patron. This will be fun. Everyone's going to have fun with it. I love the flavor of it. I can't wait to hear it. I'm going to go with a 2 just because I have nostalgia for Grim Patron. Well, yeah, it's a 2 for me. What do you think, Hydra?
If I'm going to stick with what I said on stats, I have to give this a 1 because it's understated. Yeah. 1.
At the risk of saying the S word, I plan on seeing this in a tweet from HS Top Decks for like one of the most non-played cards in Standard. So this is a 1.
Yeah, this is a 1 from me as well. Nice throwback, bad card.
Yep. That brings us to Injured Marauder. Injured Marauder is a 4 mana 5/10 with Taunt and Battle Cry. Deal 6 damage to this minion. So where we're going to see Injured Marauder the most is, of course, from the Mage Secret that we talked about earlier, and I'm drawing.
You're talking about Netherwind Portal?
Netherwind Portal,
Oh, gross.
It's going to be sick from Netherwind Portal. Oh my gosh. Now, okay, hear me out. Quest Shaman, Corrupt the Waters, Hero Power, Injured Marauder.
kill your own minion.
Rank 1 legend. Let's go. Rank 1 for the rating I'm giving it. What do you think, Hydra?
Oh, yeah, no, I don't see where anyone's playing this. Maybe like back in the day when you would heal stuff up with Priest. It's got to be a 1.
Yeah, it's a pack filler. Give it a 1.
All right, you guys. I'm giving this a 4, okay?
Whoa.
Oaken Summons.
Yeah.
Pulls this. So this will go into your, I mean, maybe 4 is too much, maybe it's a 3. But like this is an Oaken Summons for sure will pull from this. So I think that's pretty strong. If you compare this to the 3/9 right now,
it's definitely better than 3/9.
Yeah, but it's like, okay, what battle cry is worse? So the 3/9 gives them 3 1-cost minions, and sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad. Sometimes it pollutes the res pool or takes up space on the board or whatever. Like, if you have to play this for the battle cry, okay, that sucks. But if I am able to pull this like out of Vargoth or something, like, dude, this is so it's very swingy, but
yeah, I think where we're really playing the Zoltrak Ritualist and in that deck in particular, yes, obviously to get the 3/9 from Oaken Summons, but you're also playing that to dilute the res priest res pool and get the like edge case of winning an unfavorable matchup from one card, which is just phenomenal. Not to disagree with your 3, because that's a totally valid point. Just to kind of include that into the conversation.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. All right.
That brings us to Gold Road Grunt. Gold Road Grunt is a 5 mana 3/7 with Taunt and Frenzy. Gain armor equal to the damage taken. So if I'm Rogue, I've got 10 mana. I can drop Gold Road Grunt and then play my new Fireball on it for 2 and gain 6 armor and leave behind a 3/1 taunt. Never doing that. This is a standard card. This is probably a 1 in Wild. I'm going with the 1. What do you think, Hydra?
Same. I don't think we're seeing this play. 1.
I give it a 2. A fringe play. Goofy warrior players beef it up. It's a taunt minion in your hand, and then when you play it on the board, gigantic taunt minion for 5. But it's garbage. It's 2.
Yeah, I'll give it a 2 as well. Like, I mean, I don't like it, but in that archetype, like at the end of the day, it's a 3/7 taunt is a pretty big roadblock, and some frenzy gain armor. Like it'll land in some kind of warrior deck, probably standard, but I don't think it's terrible. I don't think it's great either, but yeah.
Speaking of warrior, we've got Razormane Raider.
I thought you were going to say, speaking of not great.
Razormane Raider is a 5 mana 5/6 minion, no tribe, with Frenzy, attack a random enemy. I'm gonna give Razormane Raider a 2 because I can see this being one of the cards that we include in that Frenzy Warrior that we run Sourfang in. Sourfang bringing this back, doing 1 damage AoE and then it attacking a random enemy, which can also be the face if our opponent doesn't have any minions, or if the 1 damage AoE from Sour Fang kills off our opponent's board, that could be pretty cool. I don't think it's going to be like actively played. It's, definitely a niche play in an archetype that we don't already have, but I can see a situation where we would include this in our deck. So instead of 1, I'm going with 2. What do you think, Hydra?
I think it's a super, super cool card. I don't think it slots into a deck we're currently playing, but if I am going to be playing that deck with around the Frenzy synergy, I am going to be playing this card, which falls under Fringe for me as 2.
So I don't see myself playing this in Sarfang, but I do see myself playing this card. And if I set my situation up right, it's going to hit me for lethal. So I'm putting this at a 3.
Oh.
Interesting.
Curious?
Yeah.
You give it charge. You give it inner rage. Board's cleared. Go face. Hit it with this. Frenzy. Attacks again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Another one.
Yeah, I like that it says attack a random enemy, so it's not necessarily minion. If you were able to control the board, it goes face. It's good. Yeah, I give it a 2. I mean, it's Fringe, but there's some potential.
Yes. We've convinced them to give a bad card a 2. Excellent.
Yeah, pretty much.
That brings us into the rares with Kindling Hydra. Kindling Hydra is a 2-mana, 2/4 beast minion with Battle Cry. Deal 3 damage to your hero. I mean, it's not great. 2-mana, 2/4. If it had Rush or something that would actually have that 3 damage to your hero will be worthwhile, then maybe, but I just don't see it. That is a 1 for me. What do you think, Hydra?
Seems like a pack filler to me. I'm also going to go with a 1.
Yeah, pack filler. It's like a one-dimensional card. I'll
Yeah,
give it a 1.
yeah. This is like Omega trash. Like, I mean, someone will stick it in Dark Lair, but like, I don't think that it's good in Dark Lair, so I give it a 1.
That brings us to Horde Operative. Horde Operative is a 3-mana, 3/4 minion with Battle Cry. Copy your opponent's secrets and put them into play. A lot of people are really excited for this with counterplay into Secret Mage. I personally, I understand where they're coming from because, any sort of secret counterplay, but it doesn't eliminate those secrets. It just lets you know what they are. And yeah, you have them now, so you get them, but your opponent knows what those secrets are. You then know how to proc your opponent's secrets or play around them, which is nice, but I don't know. To me, this is a 2 because I think we're going to see Fringe play, especially with how many people are excited about it. But it's not going to stick around, I don't think. So for me, Horde Operative is a 2. What do you think, Hydra?
I'm going to give this a 3, being called playable, based on what you said with people maybe thinking that it's playable, right? So if we see so much Secret Mage and people are like, yes, let's put this in, let's play it. Guess what? If people are running this, maybe people don't like seeing this card and maybe they stop playing Secret Mage as much and maybe the meta changes. So I'm hoping that this is playable so that the meta maybe can get a bit of a shakeup. So 3.
Yeah, I put this at a 1. You play this, copy your opponent's secrets. So, all right, you just activated explosive runes. You're taking 2 damage. You didn't hit their face. Now they're drawing 3 cards. And here comes a whole bunch of fireball to your face. Yo, you play this against me. When I play Sour Fang, you're going to get your biscuit pushed in. This is a 1.
Nice.
Yeah, this is like, if I really wanted Secret Hate, I'd play Eater of Secrets because that's better. Like, cool. Yeah. Now your opponent still has an ice block. You just have one also. Like, this is bad. It's a 1 for me.
That brings us to our next watch post, which is Morshan Watch Post. Just say 3-mana, 3/5. It reads, can't attack. After your opponent plays a minion, summon a 2/2 Grunt. This is definitely a standard card. It has Watch Post synergy with the legendary we'll mention later. this is not the watch post that we want to play, but if we're actively running that legendary, we may include one or more of these. I'm going to give it a 2 just because people will probably play it in order to play that legendary minion, but this is probably mostly a standard card. What do you think, Hydra?
I'm going to give this a 1. I don't see this going in a wild deck. This isn't the watch post that I want to play, or I think most people probably don't want to play this. So it's a 1. I don't see it being put in a wild deck. Mike?
Yeah, this is a 1 for me too. Cost 3. If it cost 2, I would actually put it at a 2, but it costs 3, so it's a 1.
Yeah, I don't think it sees play in any wild existing deck. I just give it a 1.
That brings us to Burning Blade Acolyte. Burning Blade Acolyte is a 5-mana 1/1. But wait, there's more.
Say that again.
A 5-mana 1/1.
Next card.
With Death Rattle, summon a 5/8 Demon Spawn with Taunt. So of course the Demon Spawn is a demon, and of course it's a 5/8 and has Taunt. This is for Death Rattle Demon Hunter. That is where this goes. If you can discount your Death Rattle cards, and you can actually pull it out with the of your hand with the things that pull things out with 4, but then you have to be running that card too. If I'm playing that deck in standard, maybe. In wild, nah. For wild, this is. I'm gonna go 1. Just the taunt is really powerful, but the 1/1 itself doesn't have taunt. The 1/1 itself doesn't have any way. I guess you can ping it off or something, but not in wild. This is a 1. What do you think, Hydra?
I mean, I like that it's not conditional on, we've got that one skeleton one where it only goes off if your opponent's killed it and it can die and it'll bring out the big guy no matter what. But that being said, it's still not going to see play, in my opinion. It's a 1 for the wild meta.
I'm going to stay consistent. It's a 1. There's only a handful of cards that are neutral that are worth it to me. This is not it. This is a 1.
Yeah, I give it a 1 as well. I think you get punished for playing this. You play this, someone's going to steal it with pint-sized potion or whatever, or Zephyrs or something, and steal it and then run it into your opponent's thing, like Schmoopy's saying in chat, hey, and then I'm going to get your, my opponent plays this, I'm going to steal it, and then I'm going to have the 5/8 taunt. Don't play this card. This card is not good. It's 5-mana 1/1. Don't do that. No, that's bad.
Yeah, no. That brings us to Taraho Brave, which is a 6-mana 4/8 minion with Frenzy. Destroy a random enemy minion. So this is the minion that Mike was talking about using with Sourfang. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. I'm going to give this minion a 2 because it gets played in exactly that deck. And I think that deck will be really powerful in standard, and we'll play around with it in the fringes. So hence the 2 in wild. It'll be fun. It'll be great. I will play that to death in standard, but not in wild. What do you think, Hydra?
That's where I'm torn.
That was great.
It has such a great frenzy effect. It really, really does. It really does. But I don't see us playing it, unfortunately. Frenzy is a new thing. There's not a lot of frenzy cards. I have to do a 2 as well. I think it's more of a 3 in a vacuum, almost a 4 in a vacuum, really. But it's a 2. It's the wild meta. Sorry, 2.
The attempt at that pun was pretty brave. So for me, I gotta put this card at a 4. When I look at their rankings, it says played in meta decks. My next thing is how many people need to play a certain deck to make it meta. And then the next layer is how many legend players do I need to beat when I climb up into the top leaderboard for this to be meta. So I think that will qualify it. And I'm putting this card and some other cards at a 4. Go ahead, Nate.
Cool. You know, if I'd give it a 4 if it had rush. I think
Yeah.
that the frenzy
Or taunt.
Yeah, I think that the frenzy effect is super strong. I like the stats. Like, I don't know. Like when when I'm playing against Mike and he drops this, I'm gonna go, oh, how do I kill this thing? Because it's huge, right? But
Gigantic.
at the same time, I struggle to see myself playing it. Like, it'll go in that deck 100%. And I think there's some potential here. The other thing that would really lift it up is if Frenzy did, worked more than once. So depending on, because it's a random, like, you really have to be careful. If you're playing against a board centric deck, this is going to kill a 1/1 accidentally. I don't know. I mean, it still seems really strong. If you can manipulate what's on the board.
Well, no, sorry, not to cut you off. It won't kill a 1/1 because when this activates, if it's on your side, then you're doing a whirlwind effect. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no. I mean, you're right. What I mean is, say I'm playing against like Even Shaman or something, like there's a whole board. It's gonna, like, I'm gonna get mad when it kills like this 0/2 minion. You know what I mean? Like, it's
gotcha. Not the threat itself.
No, not the threat itself is like it's the random effect. But we've seen a lot of cards that have random effects, and if you're able to control the board, like, it's not that random. So it's strong. Yeah, I'll give it a 2, and I'd be like pleasantly surprised if Mike or anyone else for that matter is able to make it work. I mean, I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see a new archetype, and I like the card is super cool. I think it's fun.
Okay. So hear me out before we progress. If it didn't say minion, and it just said destroy a random enemy,
I'd give it a 5, dude.
That's funny.
If it had potential to kill the opponent, like, oh my god.
Right? That'd be sick. That brings us to Crossroads Watch Post. This is the third watch post, and the worst. It's a 4-mana 4/6 minion that reads, can't attack. Whenever your opponent casts a spell, give your minions +1/+1. So it's a high priority minion for your opponent to deal with. They can just not play spells and hit your face. They can just trade into it. They can just completely disregard it and hit your face. Like, you see where I'm going with this. It doesn't have taunt. It has soft taunt, but not in a way that like has you actively incentivized to deal with it. Because if I'm your opponent and you play this, I can just play a Twisting Nether, and doesn't matter how much your board gets buffed, it's gone. It's just, I love the watch posts. I love the causing your opponent to, play clunkily around things, but this ain't it, Chief, like, at all. That's a 1 for me. What do you think, Hydra?
I'm going to go with a 1 as well. This doesn't have a home in Wild. Sorry. Mike?
My review's even shorter than Hydra's. It's a 1.
Yeah, I basically would echo what Sheep said. I give it a 1.
That brings us to South Sea Scoundrel. South Sea Scoundrel is a 4-mana 5/5 pirate minion with Battle Cry. Discover a card in your opponent's deck. They draw theirs as well. This is a little bit more interesting than, kind of looking at it initially. Some places that I see this actually kind of having some play is actually things like Mill Rogue. Because you actively cause your opponent to draw something that you can then, have things mill, but it costs 4 mana. It's a pirate, but it gives your opponent resources. It gives you 1 too, which is nice. I don't know. I really want to like South Sea Scoundrel, but I think at the end of the day, she's a 1. What do you think, Hydra?
I think it's going to see basically no play unless there's some sort of crazy fringe that you're doing. I don't like the idea of, like, sure, I want to get Blood Reaver Gul'dan also, but wait a minute, I don't play any demons to resummon. Like, I don't know. I don't know what we're looking for with this. So it's statted well, but it's a 1 for me. What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, the only thing I want to give my opponent is front row seat to my restaurant, and we're serving hot L's. This card is garbage. I don't know why they keep putting crap abilities on epics. Like, most neutrals, man, like, I'm thinking about this time of year, like, when the set come out, like, it's the set's not even that powerful. I'm scrolling through these neutrals, man. It's just like, what is going on? Nope. This one's a 1. Pass. Go ahead, Nate.
Yeah, I think this goes into that category of, like, interesting effect, but I fail to see in what world I want my opponent to be drawing the card that I just picked. The only time I would ever play this is, like, if I'm able to discover lethal somehow, but it's so fringe that I'm not even going to score it fringe like it's a 1.
That brings us to Spirit Healer. Spirit Healer is a 5-mana 3/6 minion that reads, after you cast a holy spell, give a random friendly minion +2 health.
Give me 4 mana.
Yeah, 4 mana, sorry. 4 mana 3/6. We've got a lot of Paladin holy interactions, which is kind of cool. I can see this seeing play in Holy Paladin and Standard, but we're not reviewing for Standard. This is Wild. 1. It's got to be a 1 for me.
Yeah, unfortunately, this is also going to be a 1 for me. It seems like a bit of a waste of an epic. So, 1.
Yeah. Holy shit, this card sucks. 1. I'm sorry, I couldn't help it. I had to. Come on. It is garbage.
Yeah.
I'm so glad this review, we're getting to the end of it, but that card is bad.
Yeah. No, it's not good. It's bad. It's a 1.
That brings us to Barrens Blacksmith. Barrens Blacksmith is a 5-mana 3/5. With Frenzy, give your other minions +2/+2. Barrens Blacksmith has some really good possibilities in Warrior, in particular with Sourfang. I don't think that that's going to be a particularly meta deck, but it is going to be off meta, and it's going to be played. So it's going to be played in the fringes. It's going to be a 2 for me. What do you think, Hydra?
I think that it's got a decent bud on it with the 5 health, so it's most likely going to take 2 things to trade into it, and it's going to buff your other stuff. However, they could probably play around that by killing off your other minions first. So, 1.
Oh, I'm coming in swinging. We're putting this at a 4. Going with the other card, and also with Overlord in my new Frenzy deck. I'm excited for it. Could also activate this with, Risky Skipper. I could also activate it with, I'm losing the name. Is it Blood Razer? 4-mana weapon, Battle Cry, and Death Rattle. I just see a lot of applications. Go ahead, Nate.
Yeah, I struggle with this one. I mean, it feels powerful, but it feels like a lot of steps to activate. And so, I mean, I'm giving it a 1. If I'm like, dude, I would be pleasantly surprised if it's good. I like playing new stuff, so I struggle with how it's gonna work because you got to have a whole board. But if you've got a board and you whirlwind, like before you attack, there's gonna be some OTK potential here. I feel like it requires a lot of setup, which is what I worry about.
Mike is going to play it with Scourge Lord Garrosh. He's going to make that's the only reason why I'm giving it 2 stars, because Mike's going to play it and make it like fringe enough.
There's potential.
I don't know I don't know about Scourge Lord. I actually don't like that card.
All right, all right.
I know some other warrior players like it. I don't. Yeah.
That brings us to Primordial Protector, which is an 8-mana 6/6 elemental minion with Battlecry. Draw your highest cost spell. Summon a random minion with the same cost. Yo, do you like Spiteful Summoner? Because this is Spiteful Summoner, but with a draw, it's more expensive. But you actually get that, and you get the Spiteful Summoner effect. I think that Primordial Protector may actually take the place of Spiteful Summoner in some of those kinds of decks. Originally, I was looking at like a big spell mage with Primordial Protector, kind of like in that slot. It's way overcosted is the problem. Like, yeah, it's 8 mana for a 6/6 elemental and whatever cost that you actually draw. It's not good. I'm gonna go 2 just because I'm really excited about like the Trollden videos that it's gonna cause, but it's not great. What do you think, Hydra?
Yeah, I think its biggest problem is that big number 8 at the top. It costs way too much. It's got a cool effect. I really like it, but this is wild, and you're gonna wait all game to do something like this. So, what do you? I don't know. I don't like it. You could fill your deck full of board clears and stuff till you get to this point, but it just seems too slow. But someone will make it fun, so I'll make it fringe too.
Speaking of French, in the most smallest universe, you play this, you draw your Pocket Galaxy, and the next turn you draw that Mordred, blast everybody for 10. But that'll never happen, so go ahead, Nate. I'll give it a 2.
Yeah, I give it a 2 also. I mean, like you guys said, you compare with Spiteful Summoner. I actually don't know if drawing the spell is a good thing because, like, say a Spiteful deck, you don't want to draw your spells because Spiteful needs to look at those in order to create the minion. And so if this is pulling it out, like I almost want to leave it in. I mean, there's pros and cons, and I don't really want to get into them. I think it's fringe. Like, and do we run them in the same deck? Yeah, maybe. But I don't know how good it would be. So yeah, no, I just give it a 2 and move on, I think.
Cool. That brings us into the legendaries with Mankrik. Mankrik is a 3-mana 3/4 minion with Battlecry. Help Mankrik find his wife. She was last seen somewhere in your deck. So it puts the Olga, Mankrik's wife, into your deck, which right now does not have a cost. Of course, it's cast when drawn, so you typically won't be paying the cost. But the devs have said that it will have a big 3 in the top left, just in case someone finds it with Thought Steal or something like that. So cast when drawn, summon a 3/10 Mankrik who immediately attacks the enemy hero. And that token has a big old 5 in the top left. And of course, like it said earlier, is a 3/10. I love the flavor of Mankrik, especially hearing my friends who have played WoW and how this is like a kind of rite of passage quest in WoW. Never really played WoW myself, but I can respect that, especially being what the card game comes from. Am I ever going to actually play Mankrik though, like in a wild deck? I'm going to go with 2 just because the flavor is so good, but like I don't think we're ever actually going to be properly running it. What do you think, Hydra?
Yeah, I think for 3 cost, you get a ridiculous amount of stats. It's a big pile of stats. It doesn't all happen at once, but it's a lot. I mean, who knows? They're probably just gonna ignore the thing when it comes out, right? Like I'm not gonna invest 10 attack into killing this thing when I can put all that 10 attack face. So yeah, pile of stats. I'll give it a 2 because it's a pile of stats.
Yeah, I was going to give it a 3. For me, I could see it being played in some odd decks by people who just like to play different cards at different points in time. 3 attack coming out, going face. hey, there's a lot of times where you're one off lethal, so I'll give it a 3.
Yeah. So my question is, when this shuffles into your deck, can you play cards like Stowaway to like pull it out?
Yeah.
Yep.
And
Yep.
so I give this a 4. Like I think that there's some crazy swing potential here, where you can shadow step Mancrick, you can shuffle more copies, like you can do your whole stowaway thing. Like there's some is it going to be like meme potential, or does it I don't know, but having it go face seems great. And if I can shuffle lots of copies of things going face, and at the end of the day, it's like at the very worst, it's a 3-mana 3/4. And later on, it's a 3-mana 3/10 for free. So I don't know. What I'm waiting for is for someone to break this card, and it won't be me. It's going to be Clark probably, or some other combo player. But I think that there's some crazy swing potential in this.
If the token that went into your deck was like the token itself and not the cast when drawn spell, then Lady in White would break this. But it's a spell.
It'd be a 10/10.
Right. But that's not how it.
No, because it's the
cast when drawn spell. Yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it'd be like sick and amazing and not great, but
yeah, you could play this with the Mist Caller, and you could play this with that other what is that Paladin spell or whatever that buffs all your everything. In your deck,
the 4-mana new one.
All right,
that brings us to Blademaster Samuro. That brings which is a 4-mana 1/6 minion with Rush and Frenzy. Deal damage equal to this minion's attack to all enemy minions. I love seeing Rush with Frenzy. Let's go. Like that in and of itself, I think, has Blademaster Samuro being at the very minimum a 3. That said, I don't think that it's a whole lot higher than that for Wild in particular. You can hand buff it. You can buff it on your board. I'm just not exactly sure what we're going to like kind of combo it with to make it like in a meta deck itself. Maybe Lady in White, which we were talking about before. But yeah, Samuro will be a 3 for me. What do you think, Hydra?
It seems like, you got to work to buff this thing so that it has a good effect. It just has only one area effect damage at first, so I don't know. It doesn't seem like great to me unless you work hard to make it better. And I prefer to do other things. I'm going to give it a 2. What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, for as much as this cast loves to go face, this card trades, so I give it a 2.
Yeah, I give it a 2 as well. Like, if the attack was higher, I'd rate it really high. Like the effect is super cool. But like, in what world is this like an actual 4-mana card? Because you've got to buff it somehow in order to get like a good effect. And so whether that's hand buff or whether that's play this and then buff it and then attack, like, I mean, I don't know. 4-mana 1/6 rush, it isn't bad, but the other question that I ask is like, hey, what do I take out of, to fit this in, or what is this like? Where does this go? So I don't know. I mean, that's potential. God, the animation's super cool. So, whatever. We'll see. If someone finds some cool way to break it, then I'll be playing the diamond version of it. Like, all right, let's do this.
There you go.
All right.
That brings us to Kazakus Golem Shaper. Kazakus is just like the original OG Kazakus. Is a 4-mana 3/3. This one has the battle cry. If your deck has no 4-cost cards, build a custom golem. So the custom golem has 3 steps. The first one, of course, is choosing a 1, 5, or 10, just like the original Kazakus. This one has them being minions instead of spells. So the 1 mana minion is a 1/1. The 5 mana minion is a 5/5. The 10 mana minion is a 10/10. Step 2 discovers your first herb. The 1 herb gives Rush, 1 gives Taunt, Divine Shield, Lifesteal, Stealth, and Poisonous. Those are the options for the first one. So it's a Discover. So of those 6 effects, you see 3 of them. You discover 1 from that. Step 3 is discovering your second herb. So one of those gives your minions +1/+1 in the 1 mana version, +2/+2 in the 5 mana version, or +4/+4 in the 10 mana version. Then is Grom's Blood. Summon a copy of this. And is Ice Cap. Freeze a minion. The 1 mana is 1 minion. 5 mana is 2 minions. 10 mana is all enemy minions. Then Fire Bloom. Deal 3 damage to a random enemy minion. So 5 mana is 2 of them. 10 mana is all enemy minions. So it's always 3 damage. Then Mage Royal, which is spell damage. 1 mana is 1 spell damage. 5 mana is 2 spell damage. 10 mana is 4 spell damage. Don't know why you'd have that one. King's Blood is Battle Cry. Draw 1, 2, or 4 cards corresponding with the mana. And that's it. So just like OG Kazakus, there's a lot of different possibilities with that one to kind of tailor to fit your specific situation. The ask for this one is just that your deck has no 4 mana or 4 cost cards, right? That could be easy or that could be hard depending on what the rest of your deck wants to do. We talked about a lot of really cool 4 cost cards today. I think that the effect is super powerful, but I also think that this is going to be most powerful in Standard. Now, this is a new Legendary. Everyone's going to want to play it originally, so I'm not going to, go as low as 1. I don't think that I can go as high as 4 at all. So obviously I'm looking at 2 or 3. I'm going to go 3 just because everyone loves Kazakus and wants to play it, but that's kind of being generous. It's a 2 or 3. I'm going to go with 3. What do you think, Hydra?
Yeah, I struggle between 2 and 3 as well. I think 2 doesn't quite do this card justice just because it does so much and it is quite versatile. Like, I love choosing between 1, 5, and 10, depending on where you are in the game. If you're on 5 mana, you pick that 1 so that you can do something right now, or you can pick a 5 for something later on, or maybe you're crazy and you're going for a 10 mana one. Like, it depends on where you're at. I think it's very versatile. I don't know if it's going to slot into meta decks. People are going to try it, but it's definitely a playable, good card. So I go with a 3. How about you, Mike?
I really don't like this card that much for the wild meta. When I get the Golem and I look at all the combinations and possibilities, I'm just going to be like, why did I spend all that time creating these Golems and they got destroyed? So I honestly... no shock factor or nothing like that. I rate this card very low. Like, I want to say 1, but 2. Like, I just don't like it. What do you think, Nate?
Yeah, I give it a 2 as well. I think it'll be pretty good in Standard. I mean, it's definitely like a value engine and it's versatile, but it requires a build around, and there's really good 4 mana cards in just about every deck. And so I don't want it, like in my Reno decks or whatever, like I don't want to stick this in. I've got good 4 mana cards. And so
like Kazakus.
Like the other Kazakus, like OG Kazakus is just better. A lot better. I'm not saying that this is trash. Like it's not bad. I just feel like this is the Standard card. The art is super rad. The effect is, it can be strong. I just don't think it's right for us. So,
Yeah.
All right.
That brings us to Shadow Hunter Vol'jin. Shadow Hunter Vol'jin, as you probably already know, is a 5 mana 3/6 minion with Battlecry. Choose a minion, swap it with a random one in its owner's hand. So I said, like you probably already know, because we already have this card. This is like Vargoth before it. The one that we got to play around with before the rest of the set dropped. And we've been seeing a decent amount of Shadow Hunter Vol'jin. Be it in Mechathune decks, be it in different disruption decks. Highlander decks play this a lot. It's really versatile and great, and it's in meta decks. But I'm not sure how much of that is just because it's new and we can play around with it. Obviously the Mechathune implications notwithstanding, right? So I'm going to go 3 just because we're probably still going to see this, particularly with Mechathune, but I'm not sure how much we're going to see this kind of once the novelty factor has effectively worn off. Strong effect, especially since you can do your own combos with this, like Mechathune or Malagos, and as well as disrupt your opponent. But it's got very kind of edge play, but not like that off meta type situation. So solid 3 for me. What do you think, Hydra?
Yeah, I think that while we do see it in meta decks, which gives it a 4, I do think it may peter off. So I think that I would agree with you that for me is going to put it at a 3. Great card. I don't know if we'll be seeing it forever. So 3.
Yeah, card's been on for a while. The fastest review, it's 3.
Yeah, for me, I don't know. I'll give it a 2. I think that I like the disruption, but I see very limited value in the wild meta with it. It's really good in Mechathune. It's in fact, I think I lost to it the other day. So it's there's potential, but if I'm wanting to play disruption, I probably will play other cards instead. So I don't know. I mean, there's potential, but I feel like I would call it fringe. So the 2 seems the appropriate score to me.
That brings us to the final card of the review, which is Cargill Battlescar, which is a 7 mana 5/5 minion with Battlecry. Summon a 5/5 lookout for each watch post you summon this game. The lookouts are all just 5 mana 5/5s, no taunt, no other kind of text. So it's a whole lot of stats depending on how many watch posts you've summoned. So you don't have to play them. You can have summoned them with call to arms or anything like that. This is the payoff card that we get for playing the other watch posts. Of the 3, one of them is actively good and the other 2 are meh. As such, I'm going to give Cargill Battlescar a 2. This is definitely a standard card. It'll be fun to kind of like play around with whenever everything originally hits, but this is not for us. This is for standard. What do you think, Hydra?
I'm only going to be playing one of these watch posts, and I don't even know how long that maybe I'm going to be playing it. So I don't think I'm going to run a whole deck around this, and I don't think people in Wild in general are going to. So I personally think it's so fringe that I'm going to give it a 1. Even though it fills your board, so what? They don't have taunt. 1.
Yo, this card, Cargill Battlescar, is bad. 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 Why in the actual hell would you pay 7 mana for a bunch of minions that do not defend you, that do not give rush, that do not have lifesteal? I'm all set. Gigantic, 1.
Yeah, I give it a 1 as well. And my reasoning just said that watch posts suck. And it's good flavor. I like the art is cool. This dude is a giant, and it's neat. But I'm not going to be playing any of the watch posts because they're not good enough. And like Mike said, this guy, he doesn't really do anything. Like even if you manage to summon a full board, they don't, there's no rush, there's no taunt, there's no whatever. I mean, I'll be playing this for achievement points, but that's about it.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah.
So, yeah. All right. Wow, you guys. Well, we did it quicker than last time. 7 hours, 17 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Good insight, good reviews, though.
Yeah,
Yep.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think so too.
Hard agree.
Awesome.
Aside from, I think it's fun and funny to poke fun at the time. But aside from that, we do have like a dedicated base of people who listen to us. And it doesn't matter if you take what we say serious or not, if you're going to apply it to your games. But like with the 4 of us here and all the classes we cover and all the players who play this format and listen to us, I think we can like cover a lot of stuff. And I think when people listen to this, they can have some takeaways. And with it being broken up into classes, Nate does beautifully. People who are, masters of that certain class can go to that section and listen to that review. So when it's broken up, it isn't seen at 7 hours, but I think it's a good thing. We all get to put our insight on different plays and applications.
Absolutely.
Well said.
Yeah, absolutely. Rock and roll, you guys.
Already have our top cards on that second tab of that spreadsheet.
Oh.
So if you go to eSheep.city/B2BW Forged. So number 1 is Wicked Stab. There's a 3-way tie for number 2, which is Scabs Cutter Butter, Firemancer Flurgle, and Tasman Roam. Then we've got a 2-way tie for number 5, which is Refreshing Springwater and Conviction. Then we've got multiple ones tied for 7. That is Celestial Alignment, Ruined Orb, Knight of Anointment, and Cannon Master Smith. Oh, and one more, Lushwater Mercenary. And then rounding out our top, tied for 12, are Wildfire, Varden Dawngrasp, Sword of the Fallen, Nightwatch Commander, Outrider's Axe, and Overlord Sourfang.
Sweet.
Awesome.
Right.
Awesome.
We'll see how this goes.
Right? Yeah, it's always fun to look back. Like, in fact, it may be fun to do a quick little bonus episode looking back at our top 15 of the last time and see how close we were. And what we called and what we missed. And I think Sheep has a couple of success stories there. I don't know about the rest of us, but yeah, definitely. Hope you guys stay tuned. Join us next week. We're having our Forge in the Barrens lore episode with Goliath the Dwarf, so we can get into the backstory of some of these fun characters, and that should be a lot of fun. And then after that, we will have these cards, and it will be business as usual with a new meta and some new guests, and should be lots of fun. Sheep, thank you so much for again putting together the sheets and for hanging out with us today. It's always great to have you on.
Yeah.
And I always appreciate when you bring those spreadsheets.
Yep.
It's always a blast. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Mike, thank you for being here. Thanks for everything. Hyder, thank you for being here. And we will see you all next week on a new episode of Born to be Wild.
Bye.
Yeah.
Job's done.
Job's done.